Moving into a new house is supposed to feel like a fresh start, a place where your family can finally feel safe. But sometimes, the people who lived there before you never really left. Nightmare 1. When we moved into the house, everyone told us the same thing. You're going to love how quiet it is here. The neighborhood sat at the edge of town, where the streets got darker and the houses were spaced farther apart. It felt peaceful, safe, exactly the kind of place where you could raise a family. The house itself was older, but it had just been renovated. Fresh paint, new floors, new appliances. Even the realtor pointed out that the locks had been replaced recently. Previous owner wanted everything to feel brand new. The first few weeks were perfect. My kids loved the backyard. My wife decorated every room, and every night the house settled into that deep silence you only get in quiet neighborhoods. Then, one night around 2 a.m., my wife nudged me awake. "Did you leave the bedroom door open?" I rubbed my eyes and looked up. The door was slowly swinging back and forth, just slightly, like someone had pushed it. I got out of bed and checked the hallway. Nothing. The kids were asleep in their rooms. The front door was locked. The back door was locked. I figured maybe the air vent pushed it open. But the next night, it happened again. Only this time, I heard something before the door moved. Footsteps. Slow ones. Coming from downstairs. I grabbed a flashlight and walked through the house. Living room, empty. Kitchen, empty. Back hallway, empty. But when I reached the end of the hall, I noticed something strange. The basement door was open. We almost never went down there. It was just a cold concrete basement with a few shelves the previous owner left behind. I slowly walked down the stairs. The flashlight beam moved across the floor. Dust, boxes, old shelves. Then it stopped in the far corner. There was a mattress. It definitely wasn't ours. Next to it was a small pile of things. Clothes, empty food wrappers, a flashlight, and a backpack. My stomach dropped when I touched the mattress. It was warm. Someone had been living in our basement, listening to us, watching our family, and judging by how warm that mattress still felt. They had been there very recently. Nightmare 2. The house wasn't big, but it was perfect for us. 3 bedrooms, a small yard, and just enough space for our growing family. The only thing we never really used was the attic. It was one of those small crawl spaces with a folding ladder in the hallway ceiling. The realtor had opened it during the showing, but it was dusty and filled with insulation, so we never bothered with it. About a month after moving in, my daughter started complaining about noises at night. At first, she said it sounded like scratching. Then she said it sounded like footsteps, but not loud ones, careful ones, like someone trying not to be heard. We assumed it was squirrels or raccoons in the roof, until one night when I heard it myself, a creak, right above our bedroom. It sounded exactly like someone shifting their weight. I grabbed a flashlight and pulled down the attic ladder. The air up there was thick with insulation dust. I moved the flashlight slowly across the space. Everything looked normal at first, but then I noticed something strange. A large patch of insulation had been flattened, like someone had been lying there. When I moved closer, I started seeing more things. Empty water bottles, snack wrappers, a small battery lantern, and something else. A pair of binoculars. But the worst part wasn't the trash. It was where the flattened insulation was located, right above the hallway. When I crouched down and followed the direction of the binoculars, I saw a small vent in the ceiling. And through that vent, you could see straight into the hallway below. The bedrooms, the bathroom, every door in the house. Someone had been lying in that attic, watching our family move through the house every day, watching the kids, watching us sleep, and based on how fresh the trash looked, they hadn't been gone very long. Nightmare 3. When we bought the house, the previous owner had already moved out completely. The realtor told us the sale happened fast. Apparently, the family needed to relocate for work and didn't have time to take everything with them. That explanation seemed normal at the time, but there was one strange detail about the house: the master bedroom closet. Inside the closet was a small wooden door, almost like a hidden storage compartment. It had a small lock on it, and the realtor didn't have the key. The previous owner never mentioned it, so we ignored it for months. Then one night my son came downstairs looking confused. He asked if someone was upstairs in our bedroom. We told him no, but he insisted he heard whispering coming from the closet. Later that night, my wife and I heard something too, a faint sound, almost like movement. I opened the closet door and listened. The sound was definitely coming from behind the small locked door. The next morning, I grabbed a screwdriver and forced it open. Behind the door was a narrow crawl space between the walls. At first, it looked empty, but when I shined the flashlight deeper inside, I saw something disturbing. A small folding chair facing the wall. When I moved closer, I realized the wall had a small hole cut into it, a peephole, looking directly into our bedroom. But that wasn't the worst part. Next to the chair was a small digital camera mounted on a bracket and a power cable that disappeared into the drywall. Whoever built that room had wired electricity to it, which meant it wasn't temporary. It had been used for a long time. There were snack wrappers on the floor, empty water bottles, and deep marks in the insulation where someone had spent hours sitting in that chair, watching, listening, recording. That night we packed everything and moved our kids to my parents' house, because the longer we looked at that hidden room, the more terrifying one question became. If someone built that space inside the walls, how often had they been there, watching every family who lived in that house? This was Nightmares of the Family. Sleep carefully.